Three thoughts for you today. The first is, and the Philistine drew near. It's verses 12 through 16. Verse 12, now David, David, and David. David was introduced into the biblical narrative in Ruth chapter 4. He was also seen several times in 1 Samuel chapter 16. He is now introduced into this narrative concerning Goliath. The name David means beloved. Verse 12 continues, was the son of that Ephrathite, Ben Ish Ephrati Hazeh, son, man, Ephrathite, this. The seemingly odd wording here, that Ephrathite, is given because David was already introduced into the narrative in the previous chapter. This then is affirming that it is the same David. Therefore, the words that Ephrathite could be paraphrased as the person who was mentioned before. Saying that Ephrathite does not mean that they are descendants of Ephraim. Rather, it designates the location where they reside. In this case, it is, verse 12 continues, of Bethlehem, Judah. Mi Bethlehem Yehuda, from Bethlehem, Judah. David is from a line of people who settled in Bethlehem, in the land belonging to Judah, the ancient name of the same location, as is seen in Genesis 35. It was Ephrath. Depending on the root word, the name Ephrath means fruitful or maybe ashes or exhausted. Bethlehem comes from Beit, meaning house, and Lechem, meaning bread. Everybody knows it as the house of bread. However, there is a secondary meaning derived from the word lacham, which is the same spelling as the word lechem. The verb lacham means to do battle, and it is identical to the verb lacham, which means to eat or use as food. Thus, it also means house of battle or house of war. The secondary meaning fits marvelously into the narrative of David and Goliath. Judah means praise. Verse 12 continues, whose name was Jesse, Ushemo Yishai, and whose name Jesse. Jesse means my husband, but it also means Jehovah exists. As such, the name Jesse contains the weighty notion that human marriage reflects divine revelation. Verse 12 continues, and who had 8 sons, Velosh Mona Banim, and who had 8 sons. These words take the reader's mind back to chapter 16, where David was selected from among his brothers and anointed king of Israel by the prophet Samuel. There it said, then Samuel took the horn of oil and anointed him in the midst of his brothers. Then the Spirit of the Lord came upon David from that day forward. So Samuel arose and went to Ramah. The number 8, Shmona in Hebrew, comes from the word shamen, meaning fat or robust. Bullinger defines the number 8 saying, in Hebrew, the number 8 is shmoneh, from the root shamen, to make fat, cover with fat, to superabound. As a participle, it means one who abounds in strength, and so on. As a noun, it is superabundant fertility, oil, and so on. So that as a numeral, it is the superabundant number. Understanding this, there was a play on words found in the narrative of David's anointing. The word in that verse, translated as oil, is shamen, coming from the same root as shamen, which is the root of shmona, or 8. Thus, David was anointed with oil, shemen, being the one who abounds in strength, noted by his position as the Shmona, or 8th son of Jesse. You see the play on words that's going on here. Not to confuse the narrative, but as an interesting point of fact, the Greek name of Jesus, Jesus, numerically equals 888, the superabundance of the superabundant number. Verse 12 continues, and the man was old, advanced in years, in the days of Saul. Veha'ish bimei Shaul zaken ba'anashim. And the man in days Saul was old, went among men. The literal Hebrew wording is odd and highly debated, but the sense is either he was too old to go to battle and thus excused, or that he is noted among men, being a man of esteem. The latter seems less likely, but it still may be the case. He was too old to engage in battle, but he was also noted among men, as David seems to proudly proclaim in verse 57. Because of his state, the account continues with a note concerning the family. They were not opposed to serving, but instead were a part of Saul's army.